Should they stay or should they go? The Bitterbirds are here to discuss who the Eagles should keep and who should they let go. And by the way, the Temple Owls have a pretty big game tonight. So the Owl has a message for you, Villanova. Yeah. So if you guys are Villanova fans, you guys might not want to listen to us today. Jeremy Burton, Mike Owens, they're both here. I'm Adrian Fedque. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, not too bad. We finally got to, that date when teams can start putting the franchise tag on players, and then obviously, that talk all leads back to Sam Bradford, and that's really one of the hottest topics around town right now. If the Eagles will put the franchise tag on him, or if they're going to decide to sign him for extension, or if they let him walk away to another team. So really, that's a big debate right now. But if the Eagles do want to give Bradford an extension, they're going to have to find a way to get that money somehow. So we're going to talk about some guys that they could cut in order to free up cap space for that, or possibly signing some big-time free agents.
I'm rocking my Temple Owls hat right here. I have actually the game on mute right in front of my face, and I'll try not to scream or give away anything because I know Adrian's DVRing it. But when it comes to the Eagles, yeah, we're around that time, man. We're just a couple weeks away. March 9th, we got free agency starting. From now until March 1st is the deadline for the franchise tag. There's a lot of talk we're not going to use the tag on Bradford. We should wait it out. If you want to get a cap-friendly contract with Bradford, maybe let him hit the market. Maybe he doesn't get signed right away, and then it lowers his price a little bit. That's a gamble that you can take. Whether we're going to do that or not, who knows? Time will tell. But it's going to get exciting in the next couple months. We got free agency coming, the draft. There's a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah, and definitely want to give another shout out to my Temple Owls tonight because they have played themselves back into the NCAA tournament discussion, and if they can win tonight, that would really catapult themselves to gaining a seed or a tournament bid, something that they didn't do last year. So they had that big win over Kansas last year, but it didn't really amount to anything because they didn't really beat anybody else. Well, they got some wins this year. You beat Cincinnati twice. You beat Connecticut twice. And if you can beat Villanova, hey, Nova, we're coming for you. So, all right, yeah. So, like they said, we're going to talk about some guys who we might cut. So, basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say a name, and I'm going to announce what his value is, his cap hit, the dead money value, and we're going to decide whether or not we should keep him or cut him. So, first name on this list, I'm going to go with an offensive tackle. He's going to be 34 by the time the season starts. He was hurt every week, limped around the field. His name is Jason Peters. Cap hit of $9.74 billion, $3 million of dead money. So if you cut him, you would save about $6.74 million. So would you keep him or would you cut him?
Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the toughest decisions that they're going to have to face as far as a guy that they want to cut or keep because, obviously when Peters is up to full health, he's one of the best, tackles in the game. But it seems like he's at the point where he's starting to wear down. And, I mean, the fact that he made the Pro Bowl last year was actually a disgrace because he didn't play that well at all. And the injuries really started to pile up. The toughest thing here is that the Eagles really don't have someone that's ready to fill his shoes. I mean, obviously they're going to probably end up swinging, Lane Johnson over the left tackle, but then you don't have a right tackle. So I think what the Eagles are going to do in this situation is I think they're going to keep Peters for one more year, and then hopefully the plan would be to get a tackle in the draft this year. You can kind of groom that guy this year, and if he does have to play because of injuries, he can. But I think that they keep Peters for one more year, and they draft a guy or get a guy in free agency.
Well, you start off with the guy who has is the highest paid in this coming year in 2016. He has the highest salary on the team as of right now. This is assuming we don't re-sign Sam Bradford. His number would be a lot bigger. And I think he just needs. He had an off year. Yeah, he was injured a lot. I don't think we can afford with the depth right now to cut him, even though that $6.74 million is enticing to save. I think we'll have enough. There's other there's other players we can cut and save a handful of million. Right now we're at $21.5 million under the cap, and we can get that number closer to 30 with a couple other moves who we'll talk about those guys later. But I think Peters is a guy that hopefully has a good offseason, get one more healthy year out of him. We need him. He's one of our anchors on the line. And right now, other than Lane Johnson, I mean, Kelsey had a down year. We got nothing else. We have to keep him. His talent is amazing when he's at full health. So we just got to, I think we got to ride him out for sure. One more year.
Yeah, he's a guy I went back and forth on, like a good tennis match, going back and forth. But over the last couple of weeks, I've realized you can't cut Jason Peters. You just can't do it yet. I know he's 34. I know he gets hurt every week. I know his athleticism is decreasing by each week, and each time he hits the field. But we just don't have the depth to replace him. I mean, so all right. Even if you draft a couple guys, it's you're not going to be ready to really plug them in right away unless you got like a Ronnie Stanley or Laramie Tunsil. These other tackles aren't. No, it just doesn't work that way. And I also think if you keep him, I mean, the other thing that people aren't talking about is his locker room leadership. This guy is a leader in the locker room, and he's also going to groom these tackles that we're going to draft. So if we draft someone in the first round, he'll take them under his wing. He'll mentor them. And, yeah, sure, he's going to be the 7th highest paid tackle in the league. I mean, that's quite a hefty price tag. But I just don't think we can afford to get rid of him just yet. I don't think it's worth it yet. So I am keeping Jason Peters. That might be unpopular to some. It was a clean sweep across the board, but I'm keeping him. And that's what it's going to be. So next name on this list is Mark Sanchez. I think this will be a clean sweep too. It's going to be 29 when the season starts. $5.5 million cap hit, $2 million dead money value. So in the end, if you cut him, you save $3.5 million. So do you keep him or cut him?
Yeah, I think that we're all going to say cut here. No way that we keep Mark here in town. I think that, the boiling point for me with Mark Sanchez was definitely the Dolphins game this year. That's when I just had enough of the guy. He just always makes these critical turnovers, throwing that interception in the end zone against the Dolphins. Well, it was an absolute killer because, you look at the way the season played out. We were right in the picture, and we really could have used an extra win there. So, yeah, for me, there's really no way that they can keep Sanchez here. There's plenty of other options for backup quarterbacks out there. Chase Daniel is obviously going to be a name that's going to come up, and he will probably come here to Philadelphia and be a backup, and maybe even a starter depending on what happens.
Yeah, Mark and the Funky Bunch is moving on to bigger and better things. Maybe not so much bigger and better. He might be unemployed. You know what? He's a decent backup. Somebody will sign him, but he's better than a lot of backups out there. But no, it's worth the $3.5 million to save. We could, that signs a couple of rookies, a couple of mid-round draft picks with that $3.5 million, just right there. I think it's worth it to cut him, and I agree with Mike. I definitely think Chase Daniel is going to be on this team, whether or not as a starter or back up to Bradford. Or I think there's going to be some combination of a rookie, Chase Daniel, possibly Sam Bradford, and just another guy as a third stringer. A third stringer can be anybody. You can bring back Thad Lewis for all I care. I don't know. But yeah, I think those top two guys are either going to be like a combination of Chase Daniel, Sam Bradford, or Chase Daniel and a rookie. That's what I think.
Yeah, he's gone. He's just not coming back. It's not happening. So no more cheesesteaks for Mark Sanchez. He's gone. While I do think he is one of the better backups in the league, I mean, for that price tag, no, sorry. Bye. See ya. Good riddance. All right, moving on. Next guy on the list is Darren Sproles. Going to be 32 years old when the season starts. $4.5 million cap hit, $1 million value of dead money. So you'd save $3.5 million if you cut him. So once again, keep or cut.
Yeah, the Sproles move. Now, this is one where a lot of people differentiate on. People have varying opinions on this. I think that the Eagles are in a position where they have to keep Sproles for this year. I just think it would really be a big loss for them because I still think that Sproles, I mean, we've seen it this year. He still has the speed. He's still got that athleticism. And I really thought that we underutilized Sproles this year. So he's going to be fresh and ready for next season. So I really would like to keep him. I really wouldn't be a fan of getting rid of him because I think that Sproles is a really good third down back, and I think that we're going to need him this year in this offense, especially on third downs, because he can just do so many things. And then you add in the addition of him being able to return punts and knowing that he can take one to the house at any point. I mean, it's such a huge factor. So yeah, for me, I would keep him for another year, and by doing that, you would be able to develop some of our young talent. I mean, we still got a guy like Barner who showed some promise last year, especially in that Patriots game. So you got a guy like him. And then we also have the Villanova product, too. So he's a guy that you could develop as well. So I think for this season, you keep Sproles.
Yeah, the Road Runner still has to go beep, all over the field. I think he's too much of a weapon to get rid of. Especially if Sam Bradford doesn't come back or whoever the quarterback is, if we just have a rookie or a Chase Daniel who's they're not great quarterbacks, at least not yet. They're unproven. You need a safety blanket along with the tight ends, but and Sproles on third down, you need that check down, somebody who can run a good wheel route, or he's just. And then Mike mentioned special teams, of course. He's still so fast and dynamic. He can take it to the house at any given time. He's just, even with his age, he's just too much of a playmaker to get rid of this offense. I mean, with our receiving core the way it is, we need our tight ends and our receiving running backs as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, he's just too important on third down to just get rid of. One of the things people are saying about Sproles is, well, he didn't really produce this year. He didn't really have the stats. He's already 32 years old. The reason why he didn't produce is because of Charles Edward Kelly. As much as I love Chip, and I did give him an F for the year. And one of the many reasons why he did get an F for the year is because he just didn't know how to use Sproles. And that's just incredible for an offensive mind of Chip. For him to not utilize him correctly is just baffling. So we remember how Sproles got pissed off during the season and about how he was underutilized. Well, he had every right to be pissed off because he's such a weapon on third down, and his ability to make people miss in space, you can't take it for granted. And I'm hearing people saying, well, they could just Kenyon Barner is the same kind of player. No, they're not. They're not the same kind of player. They're not even close to the same kind of player. They're like, well, Barner's fast. All right, listen. There's a difference between fast and quick. And when you have a 3rd and 3, you want quick instead of fast, because quick is what makes people miss in space. And I also wanted to bring this up too, because Doug Peterson, Andy Reid, the running back is always somebody that they use in the offense as a receiving threat. I mean, come on, Deuce Staley, Brian Westbrook, even in Kansas City, Jamal Charles. And if you look at who we have as our offensive coordinator, Frank Reich, look at what he did with Danny Woodhead in San Diego. So no, Darren Sproles should not be gone. I don't know what these people are thinking, wanting to cut him. So what are you going to do with that $3.5 million? You're going to get somebody that's better than Sproles? No, not going to happen. He's too important. I think Doug Peterson will know how to use him. So I don't like that. The Saints made that mistake of getting rid of him, trading him to us, and well, Drew Brees has said that was the biggest mistake that they made, was getting rid of him. So I know he's a couple years older now, obviously, but it's just not don't do it. No, stop. Don't even talk about it anymore. All right, next guy on the list, DeMeco Ryans, going to be 31 years old when the season starts. $4.5 million cap hit, $1 million value of dead money. So you would save $3.5 million if you cut him. So I would think this one's pretty easy, but I'll ask you guys, yes or no? Cut?
Yeah, I think that this is a cut, unfortunately. I respect everything that DeMeco Ryans, brought to the Eagles. I mean, the guy was such a leader for our defense. But I think that this year you saw that the torch was passed from DeMeco Ryans to Jordan Hicks, and now Hicks has taken over that leadership role. I mean, Hicks, it was actually quite amazing that the guy was out there calling plays this year as a rookie, and he looked like a veteran. So I think that, DeMeco Ryans isn't a starter anymore. He's a backup linebacker in this league, and especially, he's not the same after coming off that Achilles injury. So I think with DeMeco Ryans, unfortunately, we're going to have to say goodbye to him.
Yeah, I love the guy. When he was in his prime, he was one of the best middle linebackers in the league. But unfortunately, he's not in his prime anymore. He's had 2 Achilles injuries. And luckily, Jordan Hicks had the rookie year to be under Mufasa, and he passed the torch to Simba. Now Simba is king, as Chip would say. So now Jordan Hicks will be the new Mufasa in the middle there. We've seen his dynamic playmaking ability, calling plays just after literally a few starts in the league. Hicks has been really impressive, and can't wait to watch him this year. And unfortunately, DeMeco would just with the Sanchez and DeMeco cuts, that's $7 million of space. That takes us from $21.5 million up to almost $30 million in extra cap space. I think those are definitely 2 moves that I would make, and I think we can put that in better, use that money better in other areas on our team. And that's just a big cap hit for a backup linebacker who's not going to see as much playing time, and father time's catching up to him.
Yeah. Well, now that Chip Kelly is no longer here, I think Jordan Hicks, he should be Pork Chop, because that was Doug's little dog in the cartoon. So we're going to start calling him Pork Chop. I'm going to call him Pork Chop. That's all out of the top of my head. Yeah, obviously I would cut him. I love DeMeco Ryans, a great player. He's given us so much. But yeah, Father Time has caught up to him really quickly. He's dealt with all the injuries. The only way I would want him back in the Eagles uniform, if you do something like the Raiders just did with Nate Allen, you cut him and then you bring him back for lesser money. So maybe if you cut him and you bring him back for $1 million, I would do that. But other than that, no, I just too much money, can't do it. So I think he's a buy, unfortunately. All right.
One thing I want to add about Hicks is I see him, at such a young age, doing things that we haven't had at middle linebacker since Jeremiah Trotter in his prime. I see a Trotter-esque fight in him. So I just wanted to say I think we found our middle linebacker for the first time since Trotter. It's been how long?
Let me tell you guys, I called Jordan Hicks right from the beginning. I said he was stud.
Yeah.
Adrian, worst 3rd round pick ever. Who the fuck is this guy? Well, he's fine.
Oh. All right. All right. Another name for you guys. Connor Barwin, going to be 29 years old when the season starts, $7.35 million cap hit, $4.2 million value of dead money. Well, obviously, he's a guy that, he's not going to start this year. So would you cut him? Would you keep him?
I think you keep him. I don't think there's any question about this one. I mean, I love Barwin because, the guy's a jack of all trades. He can do everything on the field. But the other thing about Barwin is he really loves the city of Philadelphia. I mean, this guy does so much for the community. It's great to see. And also, he's a SEPTA rider, so you got to respect, Barwin for that. So, yeah, I'm a big Barwin guy. I think that, obviously with the Eagles giving Vinny Curry all that money, Barwin is going to be a backup defensive end in this, 4-3 system under Jim Schwartz. But I think that this is actually the new system is going to be good for Barwin because, the one thing, like I said, Barwin's a jack of all trades, but, they really tried to, get Barwin to attack the quarterback in the 3-4 defense, and it just really didn't work out too well. The one game I always remember with Barwin is the Panthers game. This would be in 2014 when, Barwin just did an outstanding job, spying Cam Newton. He was in the backfield the whole time getting sacks on Cam and just really frustrating him. So, yeah, I think that this is an obvious you keep Barwin not only for his play on the field but also for depth purposes.
Connor is going to be a key rotation piece this year in Jim Schwartz's defense, and he's versatile. I mean, they're going to put his hands in the ground at the end a little bit, but they can still mix him in. Jim Schwartz isn't married to one defensive scheme. He's going to put his players in the best position to make plays and rush the passer. So whether it's Barwin standing up or putting his hand in the grass, he's going to be on the field and he's going to be still making plays. He's worth the money. Our defensive line is great. He's going to be, like I said, a key rotation piece, and I definitely say keep Barwin. Plus he's got the best hairdo ever.
Now I'm trying to think of like guys with hairdos, and I can't think of one off the top of my head. But the hairdo is awesome when he rides his bike and it waves around the air. It's great. All right, here's why you got to keep Connor Barwin, because he is a guy I've seen on Twitter that the Twitter GMs they type and they Connor Barwin would save this much of it. No, you don't cut him, and here's why. Vinny Curry is not good against the run, and there are downs where, some say third and short, say third and 2. You can put Connor Barwin in there to play defensive end, have him help stop the run. Here's the other thing you do with Connor Barwin. You can line Vinny Curry up as a defensive tackle. When you really want to get after the quarterback, this is like what the Giants used to do. When they had Justin Tuck lined up as defensive tackle, you put Vinny Curry at D tackle, you put Connor Barwin at defensive end, and you have them rush after the quarterback. I also believe he can play some snaps at outside linebacker. So he's a jack of all trades. He's a very valuable piece, even though he's not going to be starting. At least I don't think he's going to be starting. So I don't see why they would cut him. I don't see that one at all. So we're keeping him, and the hairdo stays in Philadelphia. So there you go. All right, next one. Josh Huff, going to be 24 years old when the season starts. Only going to make $753,000, $278,000 of dead money. Does he suck enough for you guys to want to cut him?
Boy, well, he sure does huff and puff a lot, and he also sucks. But I don't think they're going to cut him. I mean, it really doesn't make any sense for such a little amount of money that they would save. He's still such a young player. He's shown flashes here and there, but then he's also, made 5,000 mistakes on top of that. But, with them getting rid of Riley Cooper, I think that kind of cements Huff's spot on the team because they're really thin at the wide receiver spot now. So, you're probably, at this point, Huff is probably looking at like a number 3 or probably a number 4 receiver guy. So, I think that they just keep Huff, and they hope that he maybe develops into something.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him, turn a kickoff for a touchdown. He has shown flashes. He is still young, and he's not making much money. We wouldn't save that much by cutting him. And like Mike said, I mean, our wide receiver depth after cutting Cooper is slim. I still think there's going to be another receiver added, so he would get bumped down to Huff should be a fourth guy behind Aguilar and Matthews. But he does have speed. If he can learn to use it and protect the ball, maybe Greg Lewis can teach him a thing or two. You never know. I think he's young enough to keep around. He's not costing anything. Let Greggy work with him. Let Mr. Lewis work with him. Who knows?
Yeah, he's going to be entering his third year. The third year is when you're supposed to kind of take off a little bit. It's when the light bulb's supposed to hit, so that's all we can hope for. Hopefully, he's got some batteries in that light bulb, and hopefully it turns on. I mean, he's a guy that's pretty good after the catch. When he catches that slant, he can run after the catch. But the problem is with him is like it's not one step forward, two steps back. It's one step forward, like 100 steps back. That's his problem. The Hufflepuff. He can't hang on to the ball. I hate him, but it's not worth cutting him for the amount of money that he's making. It's not like he's like a $2 million, $3 million player. He's not even making $1 million. So you don't cut him. You keep him. All right, next guy on the list. All right, here's another guy who sucks, and let's see if you guys would part with him just because he sucks. Marcus Smith. Now, this wouldn't be worth it, but I'm going to say it anyway. $2.13 million cap hit. $3.13 million of dead money. So if you cut him, you actually would have to pay another extra $1 million. So does he suck enough for you guys to want to cut?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a guy that they have to keep. I mean, you can't give up on a first-round pick like this that fast, and especially with the Eagles going to the new defense under Schwartz. I think that the defense under Schwartz is actually a good fit for Marcus Smith. Now, I don't think anything is a good fit for Marcus Smith, but maybe it'll be better than what he was under the Billy Davis defense. So, I think that this is a defense where Marcus Smith can attack the quarterback a little bit more, and that's what he really did at college, is getting after the quarterback. So that's how they're going to use him in this defense, really try to get him to get to the quarterback. And, Marcus Smith, he actually kind of showed some glimmer of hope at the end of last season, so maybe there's something there. I don't think it's going to ever amount to a first-round pick by any stretch of the imagination, but if we could just get something out of him, it would be nice. So I think that you keep him.
Yeah, I mean, he showed improvement from year one to year two. Yeah, I think he had 1 tackle as a rookie and 2 tackles as a sophomore. So, hey, he's heading in the right direction. And the fact that, it would cost money to cut him just for that sheer reason, keep him as depth, if anything, in the rotation. And he was one of the guys that actually openly came out and said he was ecstatic that Chip is gone. And then I think he took it back and said, "Oh wait, I didn't know what ecstatic meant." But I think Jim Schwartz will be able to maybe utilize him. He's a big guy. I mean, he should be able to play linebacker in the NFL. Who knows? I mean, give him a chance in a new scheme. I mean, Billy Davis sucked, so Jim Schwartz is 10 times better, 20 times better than Billy Davis. So I think maybe, just maybe, he'll have more than 2 tackles this year.
I think he's going to surprise some people next year. I think he's going to surprise me too. I just got a weird gut feeling about him. Maybe he gets 3 sacks next year or something. I don't know. But the last 3 games, I thought he was pretty good, actually. The Giants game, he was pretty good. He might have been the player of the game in that game. So, I think there's a glimmer of hope, man. Just little baby steps, Like Mike said, he's never going to live up to the first-round pick that he was. But maybe he'll live up to, like, I don't know, 4th, 5th, 6th round pick. I mean, the good thing that's on his side, he's not a fireman. He's not Danny Watkins. So maybe, just maybe, just like Josh Huff, maybe that light bulb will finally turn on for him. All right. All right, this one. Jason Kelce, 28 years old when the season starts, $5.2 million cap hit, $3.6 million of dead money value. The only reason why I bring his name up is because of the scheme fit. And we're going to be playing power football this year. No more finesse. No more of that sweet play where Jason Kelce is going to be 20 yards downfield. So he's only 280 pounds. If you take into account Kansas City center Mitch Morse, he's like 6'3", 305, I believe. So he's not that big. So is he a guy? All right, I'll instead of keep or cut, I'll pose this question. Keep, cut, trade. How about it?
Or the other option would be staying away from the OD in Seattle this summer. That would be another option. That he was at the OD in Seattle, I think, like every night last summer. So I think that he needs to stay away from the drinking scene a little bit. He's got to. Actually, what he really needs to do is he needs to go to the Fast Guys every day, just get a bunch of burgers, yeah, get that, get the bacon, get the bacon hot dogs there, and he'll be good to go. No, but yeah, I think that Kelce is a guy that trading would be an option, but I think that they'll keep him. If they do, they could go the route of where they end up drafting a guy and maybe they mold him into being a center in this offense eventually. But I think that they'll keep Kelce. Otherwise, they would have to re-sign Vanderbilt for about the 5,000th time. And at this point, I think he's had enough of going through all the tests that they put you to after you get signed. So yeah, I'm going to say he stays.
I think Kelce is close enough with Doug. I mean, he was at his press conference. Doug worked with his brother Travis with the Chiefs. And I think he's going to stick around. Yeah, he might have to put on a little more weight. That would help him in this scheme. But I think just the offensive line and the guards that surrounded him this year really stunk. And the whole season was a disaster. But I don't know. I just think I'm gonna give him a mulligan last year and try and see if he can come back and be back to his Pro Bowl self like he was a couple years ago. If you put on a little more weight I think Jeff Stoutland's a good offensive line coach. I think Kelce will be fine. I really do.
Well, here's how I would play it. Unless you can get a big upper round pick for him in return, I don't think you're going to get that. I don't think anyone's going to really want Jason Kelce, give up like a 3rd round, 4th round pick for him. So here's how you got to play it. Like Mike said, he's got to go to Five Guys 3 times a day. Bacon double cheeseburger with all the fries that they get. So he's going to have to gain like 20 pounds. He's 280 pounds. He's got to get up to 300. And here's how you play it. So you keep him, you have him get up to 300 pounds, and you draft the center. Now, the thing with the centers are, they're normally not drafted high. There's not really a high priority for it. So you can get a guy like, the guy I like is Graham Glasgow from Michigan, 6'6", like 310, huge man, massive. Jeremy, you know how you have muscles on top of muscles. He's got fat and muscles on top of fat and muscles. So he's a guy that I would be interested in. So you kind of experiment with it, have him get bigger, and kind of see how it plays out. If he struggles, then you can kind of go to Glasgow and go from there. But yeah, I would keep him, but I don't think it's 100% certainty he's back. That's basically kind of where I'm going with this. So there you go. I am a little worried though because, well, he's not really a power guy. He's a finesse guy. and he's got to, even though he's going to gain weight, I would hope so. He's got to learn how to play with power. So it's going to be something new for him. And playing power football, even when he was at Ohio State, I mean, Urban Meyer's offense is a little bit finesse. So it's going to be something new. Struggled this year. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, hit the Five Guys diet, eat a lot of bacon, and hopefully it pans out. So there you go. All right. Next guy on the list. Let's see. Who else do I have here? All right. Here's a name, but we're not going to cut him. But I'm just going to throw his name out there. DeMarco Murray. All right. Here's why you can't cut him. $8 million cap hit, dead money value of $13 million, so you'd actually lose another $5 million if you cut him. Next year, though, he'd be a $9 million cap hit, dead money value of $5 million, so you'd save $4 million if you cut him next year. So here's the question here. If someone throws, say someone throws a 7th round pick at you, like Dallas, would you trade DeMarco Murray?
Sure, boy. Nah, I wouldn't do it. I would need a lot more from Murray. I think that Murray still has the potential to be a 1,000-yard rusher. I think that's who he is. When he got, 1,800 yards that season with Dallas, that was kind of just it was really just really everything went his way. It was kind of just a fluke, a blimp on the radar. I mean, he just offensive line was outstanding, and he didn't have to do much. So I think that Murray is like a 1,000-yard rusher, and I think that this season is obviously going to be key for him, and it's going to really decide his future here in Philadelphia. So this season with Doug Peterson and his offense, more of a West Coast offense, I think that you're hopefully looking at Murray getting around 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't trade him for a 7th round pick. I think he's worth more than that. Obviously, you're not going to cut him with that $5 million extra on top of his cap hit. I think Doug will be able to, run him the way he's supposed to be ran, unlike Chip, who ran him side to side when he said he likes how he's a one-cut north-south runner. He went exactly against what he said. So I think Doug will put him in a position to succeed, boost our offensive line a little bit, and I think Murray can definitely be a 1,000-yard back. And then, we still have Matthews and Sproles to mix in. I like our running game. I think it's going to be huge for, if Sam isn't back and we have a rookie or like a game manager type quarterback like Chase Daniel in there. I think it's important to have all these backs to utilize. I think DeMarco will have a bounce back year for sure.
Here's where I differentiate from you guys. If it's Dallas, I wouldn't trade him for that 7th. But any other team, you want to throw a 7th round pick at us, I would trade him in a heartbeat. Get rid of that contract. Running backs are not as important these days as they used to be. And we have Ryan Matthews. Ryan Matthews is more than capable of holding his own. Yeah, he gets hurt all the time, but that's where you can draft a guy in the middle rounds. And if they can build this offensive lineup a little bit, you can be effective. But I mean, this guy's making $8 million. Like, ew. And I think he's overrated to begin with. Sure, yes, Doug Peterson is going to use him correctly. He's going to play power football, I formation, all that stuff. But DeMarco Murray sucks. He's overrated. I don't like him. He doesn't hit the hole the right way. He hesitates. I don't like him. He's not very good. Okay? He's just not a good running back. He was overrated in Dallas. That offensive line was great. I would love to get rid of that contract. I would just love to get rid of it. If someone wants him, please take him. Please. I don't want him. That's my thing. All right. So, just to give you an example. Seattle, for instance, you look at what they did with Thomas Rawls this year. you can get running backs. Running back is a position you can find in the draft, and that was the one big screw up Chip made, was signing this guy. Ew, I hate him. So, all right, moving on to well, I don't really have any more names per se, but here are a couple guys. If you could cut them, you would save some kibbles and bits. So Alan Barber, whatever you want to call him, he's going to be 32 when the year starts. $1.95 million. You'd save $1.65 million if you subtract away the dead money. So the dead money is like $300,000. So that's $1.65 million if you cut him. Andrew Gardner, he's a guy I would actually keep, but $1.36 million cap hit, $375,000 dead money. So you'd get almost $1 million if you cut him. Caleb Sturgis, $750,000 cap hit, no dead money, so that's what you would get for him. And then Dennis Kelly, $790,000 cap hit, no dead money for him as well. So out of those four names, if you guys remembered the four names, any of those guys you would keep. The guy I would keep would be Andrew Gardner, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably in the same boat there. I mean, Gardner's the guy that I would probably keep. I mean, they're probably going to be in a position where they're also going to keep either Barbre or Kelly just because of depth purposes. But yeah, I would say that I would go with Gardner too, keeping him. But yeah, we'll see what happens. What they do with Kelly and Barbre as far as depth if they get cut as well.
What was it? Barbre, Gardner, Caleb, and
Dennis Kelly, Caleb Sturgis.
Okay, Dennis Kelly is gone. Yeah. Caleb Sturgis is gone. I'd probably keep Barbre and Gardner just because for depth purposes. Probably would cut Tobin over Barber. But that's just me. I think we just need veterans in there. Hopefully we draft a couple guards, or even there was talk of Malcolm Jenkins trying to bring Jari Evans over here. He's a little older, but he has been in the Pro Bowl before. So there's guards out there we can definitely bring in. I don't want Barbre or Gardner starting, but they're not making that much money. I'd keep them for depth.
Well, I think we're going to draft enough guys that we can afford to get rid of one of them. And I think Barber, just because of the 1.65 you'd save, I would cut him. Now, I know you brought up the name Jari Evans. This is something I gotta address with the Twitterverse and Eagles Twitter. Because some of these guys are getting cut, right? Like Jari Evans, he's 33. Going to be 33 when the year starts. Jermon Bushrod, guy that got cut last night. He's going to be 31 when the year starts. Our offensive line, we want to get younger, not older. So why do we want to get these guys? These guys are Jari Evans, sure. All these all-pros that he has. He's not that good anymore. There's a reason why the Saints cut him. There are better names out there. Jeff Allen. I know you guys don't know who he is, but he was with the Chiefs. He's with Doug Peterson. He's 26. I want him over Jari Evans in a heartbeat. So I just wanted to address that really quick. There's other guys too. Kelechi Osemele. You got Alex Boone who's going to be a free agent. There are other names that are better than Jari Evans right now. Just wanted to say that. Maybe you bring him in for a year. I can see that, but I don't want to pay him too much money. So, I just wanted to address that.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I think that, those guards that you're talking about, guys like, Alex Boone, Jeff Allen, those are the guys, Mike Harris, these are guys that we need to look at to bring in because those are guys that you sign to, a long-term deal, and then they can be your building block for the future along that offensive line. we already discussed Jason Peters earlier in the show, and we said that you keep him because we mentioned a leadership type of role, and we don't need to bring in another Jason Peters. So we're not doing that. We don't have a solidified offensive line right now. We're trying to get a solidified offensive line, and to do that, you have to start young. So I think what they have to do is they have to go out. I would love for them to go out in free agency. You get one of these top guards, you pay them the money, and then in the draft, you can maybe try to focus that with a tackle with that first pick, and then there you go. So I think that's what they got to do. Like you said, with the offensive line, you go young. We don't need to go old.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we'll see how the free agency and the draft goes, but I definitely see us drafting at least like 3 linemen, and then hopefully, whoever's out there in free agency. You mentioned Jeff Allen. He sounds more intriguing than Jari Evans. Now that you spelled it out. I didn't really know much about him, but if he can play guard and he's that young and his work with Peterson, then absolutely.
Yeah, Jeff Allen's good. He's good. I like him. I've been watching him. So, it's I mean, when we brought Jason Peters in here, when we traded for him, that's when he was younger. He wasn't 30 yet. And when you sign, my thing is, when we sign guys, I want to sign free agents that aren't 30 yet. I want to sign guys that are 26, 27, 28 years old. You don't want to sign guys that are, on the downside of their career. You want to sign them when they're in the, the prime of their career. I mean, it's very simple logic. The Eagles' Twitter sometimes, man, I mean, there's these old bums that just aren't that good anymore, and they're like, oh my God, Sherman Bushrod got cut. Well, he used to be good 5 years ago, so let's get him, and it's just ridiculous to me. So that's just the rant I wanted to go on, because Eagles' Twitter can piss me off sometimes. So there you go. All right. That's really it for the show. I don't think I have.
We can talk about maybe we can go quickly here. The unrestricted free agents for the Eagles are going to be Ajari Tutu, EJ Biggers, Bradford. Nolan Carroll, Thad Lewis, Cedric Thornton, and Walter Thurman. And our restricted free agents are Molk and Tobin.
Well, they're gone. All right.
Yeah, so really, if we wanted to, we could briefly talk about, obviously in that list, Thurman is probably the biggest name.
Yeah, we'll talk about Thurman. Yeah.
Thurman and Cedric Thornton. Thurman, it's probably looking like they're not going to keep Thurman. I think that there's other safeties out there that they could get that better fit the scheme under Schwartz. They really need to get a guy that can play in the box and make tackles at the line of scrimmage, and that's really not what Thurman is. So, I think that Thurman is going to be a guy that they don't sign. I would actually be kind of surprised if they do sign him, because I think that Thurman's probably going to be asking for a decent amount of money considering the season that he had.
Yeah, Thurman and Thornton, I think, are unfortunately going to be leaving. I know Thurman's going to want a nice contract because he did have a nice year, but you know what? Towards the end of the year, he didn't really show me as much as he did in the beginning of the year. I'm a little worried about filling that safety spot, but there's some guys out there in free agency, but also I'm worried about Malcolm Jenkins at the end of next year. His contract's up. So, I love Malcolm Jenkins. I want him to stick around after next year. So I think we got to save money to sign him next year and take a cheaper safety route this year, kind of like Chip did to bring Thurman in here. He brought him in here on a one-year deal and only a couple million. So I think we take that kind of route. Nolan Carroll, I think we're not going to bring him or Biggers back. We're getting Ja'Cory Shepherd back. He was injured in pre-training camp last year, preseason, and he'll be coming back. Eric Rowe showed what his potential. I think he's going to start, and we'll probably address the secondary a little bit in the draft or free agency. And then obviously Sam Bradford's the biggest name on that free agency list.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say about Thurman. I just don't see with the price tag. I don't see him coming back. The reason why he was a scheme fit for Billy Davis likes to play the safeties in the slot. Obviously, former corner, he's very adept at playing in coverage. But in Jim Schwartz's scheme, he wants the safeties to be able to set the edge in the run game. And that's not something that he can, well, it's not his strength. I did think that he was a better tackler than I thought he was going to be, but he's not good enough to where I would spend a lot of money on him. And I don't know if Jeremy or Mike said this. He wasn't as good late in the year as he was. The first 8 games, he was exceptional. The last 8 games, he was just average. So he wasn't as good as he was during the beginning of the year. The other name that I just assumed wouldn't be coming back, but now I'm like thinking maybe he will, is Nolan Carroll. And here's why I say that. Because he got hurt, I don't think his price tag's going to be too high. It depends what his price tag is, because I would take him as that 4th quarterback, for us. And I don't know. It depends what it is, but he's a guy I'm intrigued by. I would sign him if it's for the right price. Who's the other? Oh, Cedric Thornton. I don't think he's back. I just don't see it. We have other needs. Our defensive line is like sexy. It's delicious. So we don't need him. So there you go. Those are the guys. And well, Sam Bradford's obviously the other one. It's looking more and more like we're not going to re-sign him, but maybe we do. I don't know. Maybe like I think Jeremy said this. He'll hit the market, and maybe that that the price tag isn't going to be as high as we might have thought it was. So maybe we do sign him and you draft the guy too. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Bradford will take like another prove it to me deal. I mean, maybe he does sign like a 1-year deal, because like for like I don't know, $18 million or something, and if he kills it this year, then he can be like, oh well, see, I want so and so, next off season, and then that's when we go and we start whoever we draft, and maybe he can go that route. That's just outside the box thinking I just thought of. So yeah, there we go. Any other thoughts before we get to draft thoughts?
Yeah, just real quick, I just wanted to comment on Carroll too. I'm kind of with you on this one. He's a guy that I kind of, thought that would just be out, but the more I think about it too, I mean, I don't think it makes sense for us to get rid of him, because I think that we could really use him, especially if we get rid of a guy like Biggers, which we're probably going to let go because he sucks, but we're going to need that.
He's the worst quarterback in the league.
Yeah, oh God. Yeah, horrible. So I think that, bringing back Nolan Carroll, like you said, if it's for the right price, it's definitely not the worst thing in the world. He was actually pretty solid when he played and was healthy. So I think that he's a guy that you could have in there, as your 3rd or 4th quarterback.
Yeah, I did say Nolan. I thought Nolan would be gone, but I didn't say if it was the right price. I mean, sure, I would bring him back. He wasn't a bad player, but he is also coming back off an injury. Hopefully he's back to 100% wherever he goes, whether it's here or wherever. And all I got to say about our secondary is Timothy Hawk better be helping Byron Maxwell wrap up a little bit and not piggyback ride on the tight end's back. Fells, oh my God, that was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. So, yeah, let's get some work in the secondary. I love Eric Rowe. I think he's gonna be rowing his boat. Death row up there when you face him.
Yeah, it's funny. I made that comment late in the year that everyone disagreed with me. I said Eric Rowe's better than Byron Maxwell. Everyone's like, no, he's not. And then like by the time week 16, week 17 came around, they started gravitating towards my side. So I feel smart. I feel smart.
Except about Jordan Hicks, you don't feel smart about that.
So you guys can give me a mulligan for that, please. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, all right. What did I want to say? I didn't make this point earlier about the safety spot. I would love to do what we did again last year. You sign a cornerback and you kind of transition them to a safety. You could also draft a safety. There's a kid I like from Duke. His name is Jeremy Cash. He's a guy that can play in the box. He's really really good tackler. Tackles behind the line of scrimmage in the run game. So he's a guy I like. The problem is we don't have a second round pick. So and he might not even last in the second round. He had a really good Senior Bowl, but that's just throwing that out there. All right, it's final thoughts time. We are 55 minutes in. So yeah, shoot.
Well, my final thoughts are that I'm praying for Wentz. I'm at the point where I pray every day, and I just hope that he can fall to us and we can get him. I think about this draft every day, and it's like this is a draft where if a team picks a different guy than you expect, then the draft can go completely different this year. There's guys that could be even in the top 5, and they could fall out of the top 10. It's just so many things can happen, and especially with these quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are really going to judge the way this draft goes because, you really have those top 2 guys in Goff and Wentz, and it really depends when they go. Because if say the Browns pick Wentz there early on, then that throws everything off in the whole draft, and because everyone thinks that Goff is going to the Browns right now. So if Wentz goes that early, then maybe there's teams out there that would really like Goff. So it could change a lot of things. And right now, I mean, the wild cards for the quarterback spot in the draft, you're looking at the 49ers and the Cowboys are both ahead of us, and they're teams that could pick a quarterback. Another team you have to watch out for is the Rams, who are at 15. They could make a trade to get into the top 10 to get a guy like Wentz if he's there. So there's a lot of things that can happen. And the biggest question is, will the Eagles go quarterback? Will they go offensive line? They're going to go with one or the other. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. The draft can't get here soon enough, and I can't wait for it to play out. But my final thought is strictly on the Temple Owls and pulling out this win. And I have seen.
Don't tell me the score because I won't. Once the show's over.
I will not tell you the score. I have watched the first half, okay. And I just hope for a good second half, and see how. Yep. Fuck you, Nova. Flip them the bird. Anything can happen in a half. It should be a great game. And they honored Brandon McManus. He gave a wave to the crowd, and I loved that. So he's a Super Bowl champion, and he's from around here.
He is from around here. You know who else won the Super Bowl this year? Evan Mathis. Kind of pissed me off.
Yeah. And he looked good too. They ran the ball well.
Yeah, he did look really good. Start of the year he kind of struggled a little bit, but he really got in. He got adjusted to the scheme, got comfortable, and he got better as the season went along. So Evan Mathis. My final thought, I really don't have anything. I mean, Jeremy kind of said what I wanted to say. Fuck you, Nova. And fuck you, St. Joe's, too. I know Kelly went there, but fuck her. Cause
St. Joe's pulled off. They beat Dayton, so.
Huck the Fox. Huck 'em. Yeah, I love you, Kelly. But yeah, I don't want Paxton Lynch. That's my final thought. He stinks. Everybody on Eagles Twitter is enamored by him. They look at his numbers. They look at his completion percentage. They think he's so great. He's not that great. He's going to bust. He's not good. I'm telling you guys, even though I was wrong about Jordan Hicks.
This is a thing that gets really frustrating when the draft comes around because you have all these people who think they're experts and they've never even watched a guy play on film in their life. So before you make any opinions on any of these quarterbacks or any guy in the draft, really, just go on the YouTube and watch some highlights of the guy.
I got a site for you guys. Draftbreakdown.com. All right.
Yeah.
Draftbreakdown.com. You can watch every play of every game, basically, if you want to. So draftbreakdown.com is outstanding if you want to do some self-scouting yourself. Now, I'm a guy, I do have some games that I can watch whatever game I want, so I do that. But I can also, I also do the draft breakdown as well. So it's outstanding. It really is. So all you Twitter GMs, check it out.
We're going to draft Paxton Lynch just to piss you off.
I know we're gonna. He's gonna be our guy, and I'm just bracing for it. My heart is already ice cold because of Howie Roseman. So I'm gonna be in a deep freeze.
If we draft Paxton Lynch, people are going to be pissed off when they see that when he walks up to the podium and he looks like a tool. We're going to have a tool as our damn quarterback. I do not like the guy. If you just go on Google and look at him, look at the images, he's just got this like weird mustache. He's just a weird looking guy. I mean, I do not want him as our quarterback. And yeah, like you said, just watch the film. He does not impress me at all. All his throws are, screen passes at the line of scrimmage. He doesn't really go deep that much, and he's not even really that accurate. So
he's not that accurate. On the NFL throws, he is not that accurate. Check out the comebacks, check out the deep outs, check out the post patterns. Check that out, all right? That's the throws you want to evaluate.
He looks like he looks like a complete douchebag. You want him running our franchise? Piece of our franchise right there. Pedophile stash. Oh, you're right, Mike. Fuck Paxton.
Yeah.
No, but just watch him on tape, man. He's I don't know. I think Carson Wentz has more mobility than him. They say Paxton Lynch is mobile and all this stuff. Ginger Power, Carson Wentz, baby. That's who I would get. Unfortunately, he's rising up the charts.
Yeah, like I said, the factor is there. You're going to have the Niners in there, and you're going to have the Cowboys, who are going to be the wild cards. I'm starting to believe that if Miles Jack is on the board, or Bosa, that the Cowboys are going that way. I think that the Cowboys definitely need defense. Yeah. So really the team I'm worried about is the 49ers at this point with Chip Kelly, because god damn would Carson Wentz be a good fit in his offense.
He's going to fuck us over.
Oh, he definitely will. He's Chip, and he's bitter, and he's a bitch.
Bitch. You hate him so much. Do you hate anybody more than Chip Kelly right now, Jeremy?
Probably not. Paxton Lynch now I hate more. I don't want him at all.
You know who I hate more than Chip Kelly?
Howie Roseman.
Howie Roseman.
Howie
Fuck Howie. Such a piece of shit, that guy. All right, we're ending this show. We're over an hour now, so Jesus. I so much for cutting down on these shows and then the time. Oh well. All right, I'm gonna watch this Temple game. I can't wait to watch it. I just hope we're not getting blown out. But don't say anything, Jeremy. So I'm gonna watch it, and I'll see you guys later. Yeah, Jeremy Burton, Mike Owens. I'm Adrian Fedke. My minion Calvin says bye as well. Anyway, guys, peace.
Go Owls, baby.
Go Owls. Yes, sir.